I stood there at the altar, staring out at a sea of faces. Friends, family, strangers in expensive clothes. They were all waiting for me to say two simple words. I do. But I didn't. I couldn't. Because just hours before, I watched the woman I was supposed to marry laugh at the memory of my dead mother, and in that moment, something inside me shattered.
They say weddings are a celebration of love. But what no one talks about is the silence that comes when the people you're about to call family mock the one person who meant the most to you, and do it with champagne glasses raised in their hands. I never imagined I'd be the guy who called off a wedding in front of everyone. But I also never imagined that the people I trusted could be so cruel. My name is Jason, and for 3 years I was in love with a woman named Elise. At least I thought I was. We met through friends, shared playlists, dreams, childhood trauma. She was smart, stunning, and had this easy confidence that made people gravitate to her. When I introduced her to my mom, she smiled like she belonged. My mom, who was battling stage 4 cancer at the time, pulled me aside and whispered, "She's special. You found your person." I believed her. Elise was there through the diagnosis, the treatments, the long nights in the hospital. She held my hand, wiped my tears, told me she understood. She said all the right things. But looking back now, I wonder how much of it was real. Because now, I see the signs. The comments brushed off as just being honest. The impatience when I canceled plans to sit beside my mother's bed. The emotional distance I mistook for her being strong. I wanted so badly to believe she cared. That she loved not just me, but the woman who raised me. My mother passed 8 months before the wedding. I was a mess. Elise took over everything. Guest lists, invitations, venues. She said I needed to focus on healing. I was grateful, relieved even. But now I realize she didn't do it for me. She did it because it made her the center of attention. Because it gave her control. And because every decision she made quietly erased my mother from the picture. Fast forward to the night before the wedding, the rehearsal dinner, candlelight, music, polite laughter filling the air. Our families and close friends gathered to celebrate what should have been a joyful occasion. I was nervous, sure, but mostly excited. Despite everything, I thought Elise and I were going to build something beautiful. I thought my mom would have been proud. Then her father stood up for a toast. Glass in hand, a smirk tugging at the corners of his mouth, he raised his voice and said, "When Elise first brought Jason home, we thought, well, at least he's got a sob story to make him interesting." The room laughed, not polite chuckles, real laughter. I froze, my heart pounded. I looked at Elise. She was smiling. Then her mother chimed in, loud and proud. "He's the kind of guy you feel bad for. Dead mom, no siblings, the whole tragic package." More laughter. I looked around the room trying to find one face that looked uncomfortable. Just one. But no one said a thing, not even Elise. In fact, she laughed even harder. I sat there stunned, like my body was glued to the chair. My mind was racing. My grief turned into fire. And just when I thought it couldn't get worse, her dad added, "If Elise turns out half as controlling as his mom must have been, we're gonna have some real fireworks." That's when the room erupted, and I didn't. I felt like I was underwater, like I had been slapped in the face but no one else noticed. The air was heavy, my throat was dry, my hands were shaking. I kept waiting for Elise to stop it, to say something, anything. But she didn't. She was enjoying it. She looked proud. After the dinner, I pulled her aside. I asked, "Why did you laugh at that?" She rolled her eyes. "It was a joke. Don't be so sensitive." I said, "They made fun of my mother. She's not even here to defend herself." And Elise, the woman I was supposed to marry the next day, looked me dead in the eyes and said, "She's gone, Jason. You need to stop making everything about her." That was the moment I knew. I didn't just lose my mother. I had also lost the woman I thought I was going to marry. Because love, real love, doesn't mock your pain. It holds it. It honors it. It protects it, even when it's inconvenient. The next morning, I woke up early, sat at the edge of the hotel bed in my wedding suit, shoes polished and waiting. I looked in the mirror, and for the first time, I didn't see a groom. I saw a son. A grieving son about to betray his own heart just to keep everyone else comfortable. I walked into the venue. Guests were arriving. People smiled. Music played. I felt like I was watching someone else's life in real time. I saw Elise in her gown. She looked breathtaking. But when she smiled at me, all I could think was, how can something so beautiful hide something so cold? I turned to my best man, told him quietly, "I need the mic." He hesitated, then handed it to me. I stepped in front of the altar, cleared my throat, took one breath, and spoke. "Thank you all for being here. I know today was supposed to be about love and unity, but sometimes love requires boundaries, and sometimes the people we think we know show us who they really are when we least expect it." The room went silent. Last night, I watched the people I was about to call family mock the woman who gave me life. They laughed at her death. They joked about my pain. And the woman I was going to marry, she laughed too. Murmurs began, some gasps. "I'm not going to marry Elise today, because this isn't love. Love doesn't laugh at grief. Love doesn't stay silent when cruelty is disguised as humor. Love doesn't ask you to sacrifice your dignity just to avoid making a scene." I removed the boutonniere from my jacket and laid it gently on the altar. Then I walked out. Behind me, I could hear Elise shouting, her mom yelling, chairs moving, people panicking. But I didn't stop. I kept walking. Out the doors, into the fresh air. And for the first time in months, I felt like I could breathe. In the days that followed, there were calls, messages. Elise said she was sorry I felt that way. Her parents insisted it was all in good fun, but it wasn't fun. It was disrespect. It was cruelty wrapped in sarcasm. Some people told me I overreacted, that it was just jokes. But here's the truth. Mocking someone's grief is never funny. Making someone feel small in the name of tradition or humor is not love. And I will never apologize for refusing to bind my life to people who think my pain is punchline material. I started therapy. I started healing. I started visiting my mother's grave again and telling her everything. I told her I chose her. I chose her memory. I chose her dignity. I chose myself. And in the end, I didn't just walk away from a wedding. I walked away from people who never really saw me. And that was the best decision I ever made.